Welcome to today's webinar on Oracle 12c security features. My name is Phil Ryman. I'm the Director of Business Development at Integrigy, and I'll be the moderator for this e-learning session. The speaker today is Mike Miller. Mike is the Vice President and Chief Security Officer of Integrigy and is responsible for Integrigy Security Assessment Services. For the past 16 years, Michael has focused exclusively on Oracle eBusiness Suite and has sat on Oracle Customer Advisory Board for Security and Oracle's On Demand. I'll now turn it over to Mike.
Thank you. So as Phil was starting out here, today's discussion is around Oracle 12c security features, but from an Oracle eBusiness Suite perspective. Before we get too far into this, just one slide here with regard to Integrigy, just so those of you on the webinar here have, if you're not familiar with who we are and what we do, we'll just give you a brief overview here. We have two lines of businesses. We have our services, of which, as Phil was saying, I'm responsible for the assessment services, of which we also get involved with compliance assistance and overall security design. And is for not only Oracle databases, but also, as you can see there, MySQL, Sybase, and SQL Server. Our product line consists of two primary products, AppSentry and AppDefend. One way to think of these is our consulting engagements in a box, but certainly the AppSentry platform is really a purpose-built auditing tool for not just the Oracle eBusiness Suite, but databases in general. And AppDefend is a purpose-built firewall for the application firewall for the Oracle eBusiness Suite. Love to talk with you about any questions here if there's something we can help you with, but otherwise this is an educational webinar, and today's topic is Oracle 12c and the security features and functionality, net new features and improvements that you could consider while thinking about a 12c upgrade for your Oracle eBusiness Suite. So we'll start with some general categories here, kind of touch on a number of features here with regard to the first section there, but do want to take some time to go through data redaction and certainly auditing improvements, specifically unified auditing at the end. This should take about 42 minutes, and hopefully we have some questions that you have. Although some of you have pre-registered, we do have a number of questions already queued up there, but we do want to have some time for questions at the end. So with further ado here, let's just touch base on a few topics here. Certainly when I think of 12c, I think of two primary new features, the in-memory database option and the multi-tenant. I would describe multi-tenant as you might be consolidating servers by virtualizing them onto a single piece of hardware. The 12c multi-tenant option allows you to consolidate databases into a single install of Oracle. The in-memory option, I would describe that as a feature that allows you to have the benefits of not only a highly tuned database for online transaction processing, but also for the pre-aggregation capabilities required for reporting against big data. Both those net new features, we'll talk a little bit about multi-tenant here later on. Both the new features are net new license costs, but this conversation here today is really around security, and some of these, just to highlight at the bottom here, data redaction has been markedly improved with 12c, and we have new additions to the database with real application security, unified auditing, and some mandatory auditing. Why we're talking here today is really because of the announcement here late September that the eBusiness Suite is now certified on 12c. And just one note there that the multi-tenant option, the pluggable database option, at least according to the research I was verifying this morning, it is still not certified with the Oracle eBusiness Suite. Just one note about that, you can run the Oracle eBusiness Suite just as is. The multi-tenant option is a for license option, and I'm sure your Oracle sales team would be more than interested in talking with you about that if that's something you need. But as far as more information, as far as what platforms are certified, what versions of Oracle, you can find most all that information on the blog, Steve Chen's blog, and I've provided the URL entry down at the bottom of this page. So for those of you who might want to be taking notes here, as Phil was saying, not only is this webinar going to be recorded and posted up on YouTube, but we also will send a copy of the presentation to all of you who have registered here today. So why upgrade the database? I put a couple slides here together just looking at those of you who registered, and I thought this could be helpful just by noting that the eBusiness Suite patches maintain the eBusiness Suite, but they don't patch nor maintain the tech stack. So specifically, the database needs to be patched and maintained separately. And why do you need to maintain the database? Well, not just for security purposes, but for overall support, maintenance, stability of the Oracle eBusiness Suite that you need to run with a certified version. You could go up into the Oracle support site and you can pick your platform, your version of Oracle, and you will get the certified versions of the database. So the re-upgrade, you need to be certified, and certainly there's some new database features with 12c that might be of value. Again, couple pieces of information here that I thought would be pertinent for today's discussion here. Oracle has three primary categories of support: Premier, Extended, and Sustaining. Think of this as general availability for 5 years, followed by a 3-year extended support window, which for an additional fee on top of your normal support fee, and then sustaining, at which for an indefinite period of time you could continue the download patches, but Oracle is not maintaining that code branch anymore. Some dates here that you can see as far as 12.1, 11.2, and 10.2 specifically here, and I've highlighted in red here January 1st coming up here in just a few days, and the piece of information that should be of important note is that Oracle has waived the extended support fees through 2016. So one piece of information here is when upgrading, don't forget to also look for the latest CPU. This is a common finding in our security assessment conversations with clients, in that they will note that they've upgraded to the latest version of Oracle, but the fact here is that when Oracle packages that upgrade code, so to speak, they grab the latest CPU patches available at the time of release. Your upgrade date probably is going to be many months after that. So always remember to look for the latest CPU. Oracle does have a schedule quarterly that you'll be able to actually, if you're planning your release, you should be able to, even now today, go look and know when the CPUs are going to be available through 2016 to help with the planning purposes there. For those of you who are more technical on the call here today, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but certainly for the DBAs, there are a number of notes. I grabbed this particular one here just to call out some specific steps. And again, this is a note for eBusiness Suite customers that are going through the upgrade process to 12.1. 12.1 of the database, and just some things to call out. We'll talk about Database Vault here in a moment, but you can note here, for example, step 11, you have to disable Audit Vault to run the upgrade, and you need to not only remember to re-enable that, but also, for example, you would want to sit down with your IT security and compliance team, make them aware, and put any countermeasures in place as far as any risk mitigation steps. Some other steps just to, we could go through there, but if this is something that is of interest to you, please note we do have a blog entry on this topic, and I put the URL down at the bottom. So that's some overview. Now what I'd like to do is go through some features that 12 provides, and do so through the lens, the perspective of 12c and the Oracle eBusiness Suite. Integrigy, we have been working with clients on 12c projects throughout the last year, certainly since not only general availability, but also before general availability for some earlier customers. So some of the pieces of information that you might need to consider is that some of the new components, or how the new components of the database are being presented to you, is that the Oracle Data Vault now is pre-installed with 12c. This, if you're not familiar, is the purpose-built solution for Oracle that allows not just for securing privileged user access, but also for, now with 12c, privilege analysis and reporting. There's actually pre-built realms for the Oracle eBusiness Suite. And just a note here is that the Oracle Data Vault is a additional license to use. Even though it's installed, to enable it and use it, you need to purchase that. Apex now is also mandatory. Apex is, we'll leave it at a lightweight web development platform provided inside the database. In prior releases, this was a feature that you could disable. Now with 12c, it cannot be uninstalled. So certainly with Apex, it is very easy to build extensions for the Oracle eBusiness Suite. The support site is has a lot of good documentation on that topic. But just one note that if you do start using Apex, certainly if you're public facing, you need to do so in a secured manner. And just one note there is that the embedded Apex listener, you do want to disable that if you are not using. So database Vault is pre-installed with 12c. Apex is going to be, if you have it installed, it will now be installed. And if you've certainly disabled it, now it will be enabled. Real application security. This is a net new component with 12c. I like to describe this a couple different ways. It could be described as the next generation virtual private database. Also think of this as a platform for application development. Most applications, if not all applications that use a database, have the concept of a user and roles or menus. So instead of having to build your own, Oracle is now providing a platform for which to build on top of as far as the definition of users and what they're authorized to do. So if you're familiar with the DBA user table, if you're a technical person, there's now a net new table called DBA XX users that defines the real application or RAS users. Now, one piece to note here with 12 and 12, the difference between 12.101 and 12.102 is that 12.102 actually provides a flag now that you can prevent RAS users from directly connecting to the database. And that does have implications as far as if you're monitoring for user creation and user authentication to the database, where to look. So certainly if you have questions there, we have a couple blog posts on our website on that. If you have some more questions, please seek us out, and I'd be happy to run through some more information there. But real application security is provided with 12c, and this is probably not something that you could use with the Oracle eBusiness Suite. It's more of, I think, of a solution for the Apex stack. Password protection. So certainly, as each release of Oracle builds upon the previous, and certainly I think within the security perspective, Oracle only gets stronger. Some examples of that here are that the password hash now is a full SHA-512 password hash, so mathematically the cryptography behind the password is now stronger. Oracle is now providing 2 new password verify functions. These are the out-of-the-box functions that you can optionally use to make sure when passwords are created and or changed that they meet the complexity requirements, not just for length, but also alphanumeric. And Oracle has actually provided a password function that meets the U.S. Department of Defense DISA-STIG requirements. So very robust, very strong password complexity requirements now that come out of the box with Oracle. Passwords are now case sensitive. And for those of you running on RAC, which commonly the large eBusiness Suite databases are, you can now share a password file, so you only need one versus having a password file on each node. So just a kind of a grab bag of password improvements there. Some other improvements with regard to security here, certainly separation of duties. So this DBA privilege inside the database is one of the God privileges, and so created by install and is needed to maintain the database. To assist with segregation of duties, SYSDBA still exists, but now if you need to task your more junior DBAs for managing backups, you can give them a sys backup or a sys data guard, their SYSDG, that has a lower set of privileges purpose-built just for managing backups there. Likewise, there is a new privilege for key management, SysKM, and really that would allow the segregation of duties to have staff manage the TDE and transparent data encryption and not have to, other than the DBA staff and whomever's doing it, you wouldn't need to give them the SYSDBA privilege there. So some improvements with separation of duties, keep that in mind. Another net new feature that certainly I was very welcome to read this, and though it might not have got a lot of the press in certainly the 12C roll-up here, but the sys user. The sys user with any is created by the install of the Oracle database and is required to manage and operate the Oracle database. Prior to 12C, there was no protection for the sys user. This is the sys user for a brute force attack. So if I had a script and I was trying to guess the sys password, now Oracle with 12C, it allows with this new hidden parameter syslogon delay to put in a value, an integer value that specifies the number of seconds in between failed attempts. So the default is 1 for 1 second. If you wanted to disable this, you would put in a value of 0. And I've just to help, I've put in a note there as far as how to change and query hidden parameters there on the right, and then a quick SQL statement there on the left there if you wanted to go verify what that's set in your instance. Couple other, another important new feature to certainly think about with as far as an eBusiness Suite environment with reporting, and as well as for, I think, support. Prior, if you wanted to set up a read-only user or a reporting user, you might be going through and trying to either identify certain tables and award select privileges. Now you have a new privilege, read any table, as well as the ability to grant read to a specific object. And there are some differences here between reading and select. Made a note there for those who want to dig a little bit more as far as the ability, you can still award select objects the select privilege, but now and there's a trade-off there between would you need to lock rows or not. Probably a little too technical for there today, but just think about this if you're considering the upgrade within the context of the Oracle E-Business Suite, and you do have a number of support accounts or reporting accounts, these new read privileges should be of some value to you. Transparent Sensitive Data Protection, TSDP. This has existed, certainly we saw parts of this in 11GR2. Now with 12C we're seeing net new functionality, and more than anything here, integration with OEM, the cloud control. So what does transparent sensitive data protection give you? So what this gives you is the ability to, inside the database, once you have discovered where your sensitive data columns are on a table by column basis, you can register them. Once you register them, or quote identify them, you can then start building policies to help protect that data. And you would protect that sensitive data using other tools such as Oracle Data Redaction, we'll talk about that in a moment, but also Virtual Private Database, Unified Auditing, the full toolbox that Oracle gives you or provides to secure sensitive data. And on that note, I did want to mention here that Oracle, for Oracle E-Business Suite customers, there is a product that you can additionally buy called the Application Accelerator, which will provide you a listing of standard sensitive data by column by table for use, for example, in TSDP. This listing would not, of course, contain any of your, if you have configured, for example, in HR, special information types, extra information types, or descriptive flex fields, this would be a listing of the standard fields out of the box for Oracle. For example, Social Security number, quote, national identifier on per all people F. So data redaction. This is a net new feature provided by Oracle 12C with the advanced networking option. And actually, before we get into that, I should, it's right in front of me here, let's go through and just talk about what's the difference between redaction and masking, just to get this straight here. So some people might say that this is counterintuitive, that it's kind of the other way around, but when we talk about data masking, we're talking about scrambling or obfuscating data, and we're probably talking about doing this when we're creating a non-production instance. So if I have a Social Security number, you can see the example there, it's all ones, I'm going to update that to some other data, right? So I'm going to take the real Social Security number and I'm going to create a fake one, right? And I'm going to turn that over, and I'm going to do that for, so my developers have data to work with. Oracle does provide some products to assist with data masking. Specifically, the Oracle Enterprise Manager has a masking pack that you can buy, and that Oracle Application Accelerator that I mentioned previously could be used within the context of that to get more value out of the masking pack there. Data redaction that we're talking about here is when we're wanting to change how data is displayed. So for example, if I have the Social Security number of all ones, I want to just display the last four and X out everything else. So some people might describe that as masking, but for a consistent vocabulary here today, and actually it's the Oracle vocabulary, let's refer to this as redaction. So data redaction is actually provided through the Oracle Advanced Security option, the ASO, which is an additional purchase. So what does Oracle Redaction do specifically? So I kind of touched on that a little bit, but it's built and designed, engineered to prevent unauthorized users from viewing sensitive data. So this is on the fly. When the SQL statement is being executed, a policy is being read and then enforced as to who can see what. And there's no impact to the referential integrity. There's no impact to the internal mechanics of how the database works, nor features and functionality such as backup, import, export, replication, etc. This is purely just when the result set is being returned back to the user that the masking policy is enforced. So if you are in need to meet compliance requirements in around sensitive data for PCI or Sarbanes, certainly data redaction has been built with this in mind. More information here on the certification there with the through ASAO. I put the blog there, the link to Steve Chen's blog there. But we do have a few things to keep in mind. So just as far as data redaction, gives you the ability to do full redaction, partial redaction, as well as a means to test. And so I think this is straightforward. As far as a full redaction, it would be, for example, a social security number. You would see X's everywhere versus a partial, which you could do either the first three, the middle two, the last four. Redaction also, Oracle redaction gives you the ability for conditional conditional redaction based upon who and other variables. Some guidelines, though, to keep in mind, if especially if you're thinking about an Oracle eBusiness Suite instance, either running HR or potentially just highly confidential corporate data. Keep in mind that if you're coming in as an administrative user, such as a SYSDBA, certainly redaction is not enforced. And redaction is not meant to protect against sensitive data who are running ad hoc queries, either regular users or privileged users. And the reason for that is that you can get around redaction by a few different ways. This listing here is pretty much right out of the Oracle documentation as far as the examples. As far as if you create table as select or insert as select, that might be blocked, but you need to worry about whether or not the redaction policy is in force or not. As well as there are certainly restrictions that you can't redact columns and then use them in a group by clause. So there are some pretty strenuous restrictions here. And if looking at data redaction, this is my current thinking on data redaction with the Oracle eBusiness Suite. Now, granted, 12C has only been certified since late September, so outside of the lab, we have not worked with a client in a production environment on an eBusiness Suite redaction. It would appear, though, that data redaction would be a good tool for reporting outside the Oracle database, not a tool for use inside the Oracle database. I might be thinking through this and making it too complex, but the way Oracle works with many different layers of APIs, enforcing business rules, providing language translation, and other such features and functionality, that I don't really, at this point in time, see this as a tool to protect sensitive data inside the Oracle eBusiness Suite. Other applications, yes, but how the Oracle eBusiness Suite works, no. I really see this more as a tool that if you're using OBI EE or Discover or BI Publisher outside the context of the eBusiness Suite user interface, if you're coming straight in from a database, straight database connection, this could be potentially a very useful tool. And certainly, if you're trying to secure a data warehouse, I would also think that would also data redaction would also be a good possibility there. And again, though you could use data redaction in a non-prod, there's nothing technically stopping you, but our recommendation would be to mask or scramble non-production data to begin with. And really think of data redaction as a tool in Oracle Toolbox that you should be using to strengthen or complement your existing security posture. And that, going back to the first line there, data redaction within the context of the Oracle E-Business Suite here really seems to be a good tool to help secure reporting that is going directly against the E-Business Suite, and primarily for the reason here that I'll leave you with on the lower right-hand corner here is that protecting sensitive data and ad hoc queries where users have the ability to, through inference, test various results and or other such features of data manipulation language, potentially you can get around the data redaction security. So with that, it really does appear to be a tool where if there's static SQL, for example, a set of reports that the user can just run, that the data redaction might be a good use for. Auditing. Those of you who attended our Unified Audit presentation 2 months ago, a couple of these slides will be familiar. Certainly this is more information can be found there, so I'm just going to touch on that. But one of the net new features here, mandatory auditing. Certainly if you look at the bottom there, auditing of the auditing is now mandatory. You can't turn it off, right? So if you're going in and trying to alter database vault configurations or change the audit policies, those by default now, you can't turn that, cannot turn those off. Last login date. Small feature, but I think will have a big impact. Knowing when users last logged onto your database is very important, not only for auditing, but also for account management and provisioning. So if you have a process that every 6 months or every year you look at who has open or who has accounts, and you want to make that decision as to, should you expire, lock, or drop those accounts because maybe the person hasn't used the account. Oracle prior didn't really give you an easy tool for that. There are ways to do it, but now there's standard functionality. There's a new column been added to the DBA user table there, last logon, and I just did a quick result set down at the bottom there. You can see in the table the last logon, the date, and then the time zone there. 2 new audit roles to assist with separation of duties that you get with 12C, so the admin and the audit viewer. And more than anything, what 12C is giving you is a whole new way of thinking about auditing within the context of an Oracle database. So the unified auditing is that. It provides net new features and syntax, and at a very high level, there's 2 modes. There's a pure mode and a mixed mode, which is the default. I'll take you through the differences between those 2 modes here on the next few slides. So unified auditing gives you all of the auditing features and functionality that you know and have been working with for the past 10, 20 years with the Oracle database. Those still work the same. That is the default. So when you finish with the 12C upgrade, you will continue to have all the same auditing you had when you started it. Oracle, though, is providing mixed mode as not only as that as a bridge, but also the pure mode is how they see the future, and they're providing the mixed mode as a transition. One thing to keep in mind, and we've seen this and I want to share it, is down at the bottom there, there is a policy, a unified audit policy that mirrors the default auditing, and potentially, unless you disable that, you're going to collect the audit information twice, once in the traditional fields, once in the new unified auditing. And you either need to, if you're going to be using the traditional auditing, you should consider disabling the Aura secure config policy, or set up purge in and around that. I've actually provided you the meta-link note that if for that. So pure mode, again, this is not the default, but Oracle is positioning this as the future. why would you think about pure mode? Well, how Oracle has rewritten auditing to be done through the system global area is really a marked increase in performance. So as in the prior, auditing always had an overhead or a cost of overhead against performance. Now with pure mode, Oracle is how they've written that is going to lift that largely. However, to use pure mode, you do need to relink the kernel to use it. And when you do so, the traditional auditing that you functionality that is as well as sources are no longer going to work and no longer be populated. So the init.org parameters and around the audit trail, those will largely be ignored. More importantly, though pure mode uses secure files to make sure that the audit data is fully encrypted, the result of that is that syslog is no longer, syslog audit streams are no longer possible. So if you have a centralized logging and audit solution, pure mode at this time is not going to work for you. If you were to test it out, the Oracle documentation does say that you can revert back to mixed mode at any point in time. So that was a quick walkthrough of unified audit, mixed mode versus pure mode. Something else I wanted to share here with regard to new features that 12c gives you, specifically a unified audit feature, is the Audit Any. Prior, when you wanted to set up auditing and you set it up on a role, whenever you in the future were to go in and add or revoke privileges to that role, you had to go back and rework the auditing to make sure you capture that. Now, this new feature with Unified Audit allows you to set up, with the simple syntax that I provided there at the bottom, you could just audit the role, and it eliminates the need to ever go back and redefine the auditing policies. This is a new unified audit functionality, but it should be available both in mixed mode and pure mode. So keep that in mind. I think that's certainly for an e-business suite environment where you are looking at certainly different types of privileged users that could be logging in directly, and the auditing that you should or actually need or you should have in place. Certainly this could help. Last but not least, unified auditing could be defined as a super view. There's actually a view, unified audit trail, that has 94 columns, and what this is doing underneath, so to speak, is it is blending all of the disparate audit sources into a single source. So I have my standard auditing, FGA, data vault activity, and so forth here. So the key to, if you're looking into that view, the key column is the audit type, and that will allow you to start filtering out specific events when you start looking at that. This view works the same whether or not you're in mixed mode or pure mode. So some recommendations here for eBusiness Suite and Unified Auditing. Integrity's recommendation is to use the default 12c mixed mode. And for any net new auditing requirements, consider Unified Audit. Again, in the mixed mode, you should be able to enjoy the benefits of both. Though the limitation there might be, if you're using Oracle products such as the Oracle Audit Vault, you should have no problem. If you're using other vendors and their auditing solutions, there might be some complications here with pure versus mixed mode, but certainly consider the new unified audit policies for as you can, because really that's how Oracle is positioning the future there. Certainly the unified audit trail for any reporting and quick inquiries and support, that 94 column view there, the SYS unified audit trail, use that. And then just last but not least there, if you're coming up on 12, remember to go after that Aura secure config policy. Either use it or disable or purge it. Very last slide here. It's not necessarily related to 12C, but it belongs in a conversation with regard to auditing with regards to the Oracle e-business suite, in that the client identifier now namespace within the database now contains the Oracle FND username. So the username M. Miller, so when M. Miller logs onto the Oracle e-business suite, whatever logging solution you've set up, this client identifier now helps track who did what. So if you know how the way Oracle works, the WOW is that when you look at the database, you'll see that the apps connection is connecting once or more for every user that's connected to the database. Through this client identifier, you'll know specifically the human being who did that. And you can see here that not only is the e-business suite taking advantage of that, but also it's been standardized with PeopleSoft, SAP, and you can also do this with OBIEE. So I just want to throw this slide in here and make sure that's well shared, because it's a very, very good and powerful feature. So that was a quick tour of 12C. We've been working 12C for well over a year now, and it's only relatively recently here that with the Oracle announcement late September that 12C has now been certified. So wanted to share the notes and thinking research that we have with you, and certainly if you have questions now or in the next few months or weeks as you plan out your upgrade, please reach out to us. So with that, Phil, I think we have some questions, correct?
Thank you, Michael. Yes, we've got a couple of questions here which have come in. First one, we're looking for an Oracle e-business suite 12.1 versus 12.2 comparison of security features.
So I saw that beforehand, Phil, and I think the best answer I can give on that today here is that we did do a webinar within the last 6 months on 12.2. And we should probably share that presentation as far as the 12.2 features of the application, as that's how I understood this question. It was not about the database 12C, but more about the eBusiness Suite 12.1 versus 12.2.
Okay, next one. What new security features, if any, can be implemented that do not require additional Oracle security products or licenses, as budgets are tight and the addition of products like Oracle Access Manager Suite and Oracle Identity Manager are not an option?
Well, first thought that comes to mind is that many people don't fully understand what they own or have or are entitled to use. Second thought on that would be, what are the requirements? Certainly the Oracle standard license of the database is very rich. We kind of touched on a few of these here today as far as the fine-grained access control with, certainly with 12C, a new feature that actually comes to mind is the FIPS 140 certification. So FIPS is one of the federal government standards for encryption, and 12C gives you the ability now, basically a single startup parameter now that you can enable that will make sure that wherever encryption is used in 12C, that encryption will be used that meets the requirements of the FIPS 140 standard. So that's probably a follow-up conversation that I'd be happy to have with whoever asked that.
Okay. Next, will Unified Audit work with the e-business suite?
Yeah, just I think we walked through that. Hopefully and the answer again, think of unified audit in mixed mode, and think of the net new features and how you might start using those. And the caveat there would be to whatever auditing solutions you currently have in place, think about how to work a unified audit in that's complementary. Tools such as the Oracle Audit Vault are going to make that much easier as well.
All right, and next one. Has Integrigy worked with Audit Vault in pure mode versus mixed mode?
Within the context of the Oracle eBusiness Suite, the answer on that is, well, unified audit within since the announcement we have not since the announcement in late September there, September 27th, when it was certified, we have been talking with several clients about planning a 12C upgrade, but we have not assisted, nor do I know of a customer that has is already in production with 12.102. With regard to the Audit Vault, I assume that's, for the reasons I just laid out there, that timeline, I assume that will be coming shortly, and when it does, that will be using mixed mode, not pure mode. Though it's possible in pure mode, I think we'll see that first in mixed mode. If that does not answer the question, please follow up with me afterwards.
All right, thank you, Michael. I think that ends our session for the day. I want to thank everybody for attending and taking the time out this afternoon to attend one of our e-learning sessions. Be sure to stay tuned for this next year. That's January the 15th. Our next webinar will be on the Integrigy framework. It should be very interesting. So again, we at Integrigy wish everybody a great holiday season and a great new year coming up in 2015. So thanks again, everybody.